Okay. Hello, everybody. Um, Welcome to Lotus. My name is Debbie, and today I'm going to guide you through a practice for your first trimester, which means if you're here with me, you're pregnant. So congratulations. I'm very excited for you. If it's your first, I'm even more excited for you because there's nothing like doing something for the first time. There's the nerves, the butterflies. So just enjoy it. Enjoy it. And if this is not your first time, welcome back. Nothing like a multiple time to the rodeo. And it's nice because you've got some wisdom of what happened before, but still trying to take this one for what it is so that you're not putting the same thing that happened before to expect to happen this time, but really just letting this also be another first experience. So the two biggest complaints during this trimester are nausea and fatigue, and also that someone has taken over your body and you no longer have autonomy over it. So the objective in this class is to learn to breathe properly while you still can, and take a deep breath in and out. We're going to move the body as an antidote to the fatigue that you're experiencing, and also to get used to taking time to rest. Okay. So things that you're going to need for the practice today. You will need two blocks. We'll use a blanket. And I know I emailed everybody about those things, so you should have them, but let me know if you don't. You can also use a bolster. Alternatively, you didn't have those, you could bring a pillow into this and you can use that as well. Um, but to get started, let's go to all fours. Let's get into our tabletop position. And I want you to grab your block and place it on its lowest setting and come to child's pose. Knees are going to go wide, big toes touch, sit your hips to your heels, and grab that block and put it so that your forehead rests right onto the block. Yep, and by your forehead, I mean that space between your third eye. Let that rest. And you can wrap your hands back in around to your feet. You could also reach your arms forward if that feels good. We're really going to be interested in what feels good today. And like I said, it may feel like someone's taken over your body. You're experiencing all of these things that you normally don't. It's slowed down your life in some way, and you may have already had to make adjustments already. And it's important as that you experience all of it and that you present to it. And it doesn't mean that you can't feel some kind of way about it. Fatigue and nausea are definitely not ideal, but still, we're getting used to listening to our bodies, listening to what feels good, listening to what maybe we don't need anymore, especially in your yoga practice. And your yoga practice will change, and it's okay. Sometimes when change comes, we're afraid that we might lose something. But everything that you used to have in your yoga practice, you will still have. We'll just take a small hiatus in order to make room and space for this new being that is growing in your body right now. So, really important to breathe, obviously, and it's an autonomic function. You don't have to really think about it, but in the yoga practice, we turn it into something that's conscious and active so that you're co creating with the body. And right now, when the baby is so small that you can't see or really feel, there's nothing tangible for you. You want to take deep breaths because in a little bit, your belly will get bigger and you won't be able to take these deep breaths in and out. Your diaphragm will get stuck in and it'll only be able to go up so far. So let out a long exhale. And when you do that, your diaphragm is moving up. Okay. And that's what's pushing the air out of your nose, your mouth. Yep. And then inhale, take a deep breath in. Feel the sides growing. And this is your diaphragm moving down. And then exhale, the diaphragm moves up and the air goes out of your nose, your mouth again. Inhale, big belly. Even feel the breath moving into your back ribs. It creates a vacuum, and that's the air coming in. And then exhale, that diaphragm moves up all the air out. Keep going like that. Just lay here for a while in your child's pose, breathing, and try to find more space for the inhale, the front, the back, the sides of the body, and then more space for the exhale as you empty everything out. Keep going. Good job. Keep that breath going. Let's take 3 more of these diaphragmatic breathing breaths. Inhale and exhale. Your breath is going to be very valuable as this experience continues on, and very, very valuable once you get to your labor and your delivery. So 1 more cycle of that diaphragmatic breath and exhale. Let it go slowly, and then unfurl from here. Make your way into that tabletop position. You can put the block just here to the front of your mat. Take the other block, have it at the other side of the mat, and then in all fours, spread your fingertips wide. We're just going to go into some gentle cat-cows. So we're going to inhale and arch the back, look up, and then exhale, press down and around. We'll take a traditional cat-cow for the first 3 rounds, listening to the body, feeling in to see how you're doing, how the joints are doing, and then take 1 more round, and then we can explore a little bit with some unconventional movement, some circles of the rib. So you can let your head roll around, your hips roll around, and maybe rock forward, rock back, switching the weight from your wrists to your knees. From your wrists to your knees, go to the other direction. If you're making any sort of circles, close your eyes if it's comfortable and continue with whatever's feeling good. So it's not about how it looks, it's about how it feels. And you want it to feel amazing. And if it doesn't, then that's when it's your cue to back off. So take 1 more round of whatever version that you're playing with, and then we'll come back to a neutral spine. Bring your knees a little closer together, extend your right leg back, right? And then extend your left arm forward. And you can lift your left arm up as you lift your right leg up. So we'll do this like spinal balancing. It's also a mild abdominal core exercise, but as your baby grows, it's going to turn into one of the most beloved core exercises, because really think the baby, your belly, it's going to get bigger. The baby's going to get heavier, and your abdominal wall is going to have to lift against gravity, right? So the baby up and in, which will keep that abdominal wall nice and tight as it continues to grow. Keep extending and lengthening. 1 more breath. And then replace the hand and then the knee down to the floor. And just take a couple of breaths here. See if you feel any kind of difference between your sides already. Good job. So same thing, other side. Your left leg back, right arm forward. Try to keep your neck long. So think of pulling your chin down to your sternum and lengthening the back of your skull. Reach and lengthen. Slight toning of the navel to the spine. And then replace the hand and the knee back down. Yep. And let's do that with the breath now. So inhale, right leg, left arm, they get long, and exhale. You replace it back to the floor. Do that again. Inhale, exhale on the breath at your own pace. You can be at your own pace now. But if you need to take a little longer in one spot, please do. And we'll do 2 more rounds on our own. Right, left, and right, left. Try to seal the lips and let the breath come in and out through the nose. But if that doesn't feel good and you feel like you need a big mouth breath, and go for that. Really, anything goes when you're pregnant. If you feel it, go for it. If you want to eat it, go ahead. Give yourself permission to do what feels good. Now come back to all fours. 1 more round of the cow. Yep, and the cat-cow here. Start with the cow here, and then exhale to the cat. Good. From here, back to neutral. Tuck the toes under, and we'll come to downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back, so it's a wide down dog, wide feet and wide hands. Sometimes inversions don't feel good in the first trimester, so if it doesn't feel good, come back to your knees. And you can take a puppy dog. Walk the hands forward, walk the knees back, and let your heart drop down. You're still getting that extension that you get in the downward facing dog, but it's not an extreme inversion, okay? So if the downward facing dog is still feeling pretty good for you, stay. Bend your knees a lot, press the mat away, feel the sides of your waist lifting all the way up towards the creases of your hip, and then you can pedal the feet out. So you'll bend the right knee, drive your left heel down, and then bend your left knee, drive your right heel down. If that feels good, if it's yummy, continue on like that. Just walking your dog. And then ground both feet to the floor, and let's walk the hands to the feet. If you're in the puppy dog, curl your toes under, lift the hips up just to go to a down dog for a short moment and walk your hands to the feet to meet us. So we'll pause here, bend the knees a lot, and then slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Shin is the very last thing to come off of the chest. You're at the back of your mat. Now circle both arms to the sky, interlace the fingers, flip the palms and stretch all the way up. Take a deep breath in on the exhale. You'll take the right arm down by your side, left arm reaches up and over, and then same thing on the other side. Left arm down, reach that right arm up. You can look at the right arm and then take it up and over. Do that again. Inhale, lift you up. Exhales, take you down. So all the movement we'll do today will be gentle. We're taking it easy, but we still want to move. So reach both arms up once again, lengthen, and then exhale, fold over your legs. Yep. Your left hand, it can come down on your shin, long spine, and then walk yourself back out to downward facing dog. Take as many steps as you need to get there. We're not going to be here for long. Right leg lifts up just slightly, and then put your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So at this point, you still have plenty of room, right? You're probably not even showing a whole lot, but still, we're going to start to move into what will be our practice in a couple months, where you'll be stepping the foot wide because your belly is going to get bigger. So that foot is wide so you can keep the back toes tucked under and you'll lift up, or you can even lift both arms up from here actually. Bring your hands to the front thigh. You can interlace the fingers over your front thigh and just press your pelvis forward until you feel some feedback at the top of the left hip, and then pull it back. If your knees are tender, add a blanket underneath your knees and even double the left side of your mat, and then just gently moving forward and back. We'll do one more like that. Pause with the way forward and then take both arms up to the sky. Take a deep breath in here and then exhale. Both hands come to the inside of your foot. Step back to all fours, tuck the toes, lift the hips, up and back, downward facing dog. Other side, left foot. It steps to the outside of the left hand, wider stance, drop down to your right knee, add your padding if you need it, and then rise all the way up. Find your balance here between the front foot and the back knee. Interlace your fingers. And then press forward on an inhale. Pull back on and exhale. Forward and back. This rocking motion is also going to become really popular during your pregnancy, especially in my class. I like to rock side to side. Reach both arms up to the sky. Take one more deep breath in and then exhale. Hands go to the inside of the foot. Yep. Lift the hips up and back and go back to your downward facing dog. Good. And from here, we'll walk our hands back to the feet again. Open your feet pretty wide. Turn the toes out, the heels in, and you're going to sit your seat down into like a squat, palms at heart center. So if your heels don't come all the way down to the floor in your malasana, what you can do is grab a blanket and you'll just double fold it, and then slide the blanket underneath the space between your heels and the floor. And even if your heels can get to the floor, sometimes it's just really nice to have the extra support. And I'll say this a lot as we continue on throughout your pregnancy into trimester 2 and trimester 3, that embrace the support, right? Let yourself use the props. Go ahead and purchase the bolsters so that you've got it right. Get all the extra things that you need so you can feel really supported during this time. So the heels are either on the floor or on the blanket. We'll bring the hands to heart center and just let your elbows snuggle down into the legs. And you're trying to get more of the sides of your waist in between the legs, elbows out, but the knees hug back in. And from here, we're going to work on some pelvic floor engagement. Okay. So just take a few more breaths here. So I want you to think of a compass, north, south, east, and west. Bring your mind's eye down to your pelvis and think that your pelvis is a compass. The pubic bone is north, the tailbone is south. Your two sitting bones are east and west. So close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. Yep. Drop your mind's eye down to that compass at your pelvic floor. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, see if you can gently bring north and south together to meet right at the center of the compass. and then release. Take another inhale. Exhale and see if you can bring east and west together at the center of the compass, and release. Do that again. Inhale. Listen up, a little different this time though. I want you to bring all 4 points right to the center of the compass. Hold them, and then think of those 4 points not only coming together, but lifting up, right? So that's the goal here. Keep that, and then relax it completely. Let it all go. We'll do one more like that in a moment. So inhale breath, let all the breath go down to the pelvis, and then feel those 4 points all coming to the middle, and then lifting up nice. It's as if that energy starts at the base of the spine and it moves all the way up to the crown of the head. Keep it lifting up. Try to hold it. 3, for 2, and then we'll release it and let it go. It's also important that you let it go all the way as well. So both hands down. You're going to fall forward. Yep. And take that blanket out from underneath the heels if it's there. Give the head a little bit of a shake. And now you'll slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Shin is the very last thing to come off the chest. Take a moment. Sometimes going from low to high like that, it can be a big change in your blood pressure. So take a moment if you need it. And then find your 2 blocks, and we'll do some standing poses. So I'm going to take one block, yep, to the long end of my mat, and then the other block to the front, okay? And we'll turn to face the long edges of our mat, and we're going to go really wide, about hip width distance apart, and then we'll take some variables, in the warrior. So turn the left toes in as if you're pigeon-toed, and then turn your right toes forward. Move the blocks out of the way, if it's in the way, and a little wider stance. So sometimes we say heel to heel alignment. I like to go wider than that. So on my right heel is wider than my left here, and it's as you grow bigger here. You'll just want a wider stance. So start with it now, and reach the arms apart and all the way up to the sky. Take a deep breath, then lengthen and exhale. Bend into your front knee, and you might find that you need to widen your stance once you've been good. And we'll do that dynamic up and down. So we'll inhale, reach up, and exhale, bend down. Do that movement 2 more times, just moving on the breath. Inhale and exhale. Gentle movement, but effective movement, and we're getting the blood flowing. Pause once you get into your warrior 2, and then we'll take a triangle pose. So straighten both of the legs, shift your hips back, reach your right arm forward, and you'll take your hand to that block. The block's just right outside of your ankle. Your shin bone presses, your hand will press down. And if you need the block, you can go on its lowest setting, or you can keep it high. It's your choice. Okay, but keep wrapping your right sitting bone under, and you don't have to hold your belly in, right? Get used to softening this whole part of your belly and your pelvis, this sort of structure that I might have taught here, right? If we're doing a regular vinyasa class, completely different here. This is really all about feeling good. So get your head in the right position where it feels good. Yep. And then find your gazing point and just practice breathing. We'll do one more breath here. So stand strongly into the soles of your feet, and then rise yourself up. Good job. And then we'll do one more lunge. Bend into that front leg, and then take your right elbow to your right thigh. This left hand is going to drop down, and it'll reach up and around. And just make some nice circles of this left arm. Let your eyes go along for the ride of the circle, and then reach that arm up and over your head. Bend your pinky finger in towards your face. Good. And then start to spin your belly up. Ribs up, gaze up. One more breath. Nice work. And then warrior to straighten your front leg, hands to your hips. Turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. Reset so that the feet are on the same line. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. So feet right, toes turn them in, left toes turn them out. Reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale. Bend in your warrior to widen your stance. We'll go up and down a few times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Dynamic movement like this is really nice time to connect your movement and your breath together. So inhale, you're rising and expanding, and then exhale, deep. Pause here on your warrior to reach your arms apart, and then straighten both legs. Shift the hips, triangle pose, left hand comes to the block, floor, or the shin. Good. Left hand onto the block. Yep, you can lean on it and then let that be like the currency to continue all the way up to your right arm, to your right fingertips. Lay back on the shoulder blades. Imagine that there's a wall behind you and you're allowing your head and shoulders to rest on the wall. There's no need to hold in your belly. Let it spill and just find your breath. We'll take one more deep breath in and then lift all the way back up. Our final standing warrior pose. And then back to warrior two. Left elbow to the thigh. Drop your right hand down. Reach it over your head. And then back around a couple circles like that. Yep, just like that, those circles. And remember, the eyes are following. One more, and then we'll reach this arm up over the sky and just pause. And take the last couple of breaths, spiral yourself to the sky. Feel a sense of opening and vibrancy across your chest and your belly, right? And even if you're faking the vibrancy because you don't feel that way, inside, one more deep breath, and then back to warrior two. Good. And then straighten both legs. Turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat again. And this time I want you to grab the blocks. Just grab one, it's all you need, and place it so that it's actually on the floor right in front of you. So yeah, exactly. If there's a middle lane, place it right down that middle. Yep. And take your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest, and then exhale, fold forward so you can take the block to its medium level, and we'll fold forward here. If you do need the second block because you want them to be at their highest level, then do that, and we'll just pause here. Rock the way forward into the balls of your feet. Bend your knees a little bit, and then let your head just hang again. If this is another inversion, right, our hips are higher than the heart. So if this doesn't feel good in terms of the nausea aspect of your pregnancy, then skip it. You can even just stay upright here, okay? One more breath where we are, and then we'll all come to upright. Yep. Place one block, or you can put both of them together so they become one block. You place your left hand on the one or on the two blocks together. Place your left hand down and then twist towards the right. So let your hips go along for the ride for this twist, right? The left hip can dip down as we continue with our twist during your trimesters. We're actually going to take out any of your closed twists, okay? And we're going to want to let actually all of your twists be open. So twist, and they feel amazing, especially as the belly starts to grow. These open twists, you can just let the belly spill out. Baby's got room to spiral. And so do you. And then both hands, bring them back down. Replace the right hand. Your left hand is going to do the same thing to the other side. Inhale, left arm, open again. Let your right hip drop. Your whole pelvis is going along for the ride. Move your shoulders away from the ears. Roll your neck along. And then take a huge breath in a full exhale. Good. Bring both hands down. And now from here, hands to your hips, squeeze your inner thighs together and do that and stand all the way up. So the feet will come together. We'll come back to the back of the mat. Circle the arms to the sky. Inhale and then exhale. Fold them back over your legs. Take a half lift, long spine. Walk it forward to downward facing dog. And then right away come down to all fours. Good. And then interlace your fingers and we'll come to a forearm plank. So we're going to find our abs while you still have abs. So this is, into your left leg and then back into your right leg, into your forearm plank. If this is too fiery for you right now, you can come to Sphinx pose, okay? But if you're with me, be with me. So drop your butt down so it's in line with your shoulders and your heels. And I want you to cough. So it's going to sound like this. And when you cough, you'll feel the transverse abdominals activate. Those are your lowest, most deepest abdominal muscles. And you want those to work, right? So just do it a couple times. Do it one more time. And then hold that. Hold that at the bottom of your calf where you feel these muscles engaging. And try to keep that. These are really important, especially after pregnancy. Sometimes the abdominal split, and if that transverse abdominals is not connected well enough, then it can occur, and that's the separation of the abdominal wall. So finding the transverse abdominals can be really valuable here. We'll stay here one more breath. Actually, we'll take a few more breaths here. And if you need to release, release and come down onto your belly into Sphinx pose. Just pull your heart through your arms. Stretch your belly good, lower all the way down. Hands underneath your shoulders. And then press yourself up from here. You'll just cross your shins behind you and you can rock back to a seat. So we'll take the soles of the feet together. We want to actually move everything out of the way and turn to face you. Yep. So the soles of the feet are together and we'll just take some circles. This was one of my favorite poses to do when I was pregnant. And if we see each other again in trimesters 2 and 3, we will keep this going. And I promise it'll feel even better as the months go along. So switch the direction of your circles. Good. And like I was saying before, there's this feeling that the rocking motion just feels good. It feels safe and nourishing for the body. Let's do 2 more rocks. And then come to center. And just stay here for a moment. So keep the left sole of the foot where it is. Extend the right leg out long. And then you can pull that left foot closer. Yep, the foot's in the thigh. And then, yep. And then grab your bolster, and we'll place the bolster just to the inside of the leg and turn to face the bolster, and we'll fold forward and come into a restorative version of Janushasana. And if you're not able to fold this deeply because there's constriction at the back of the hamstring or back of the leg into the hamstring, you can add a block or even 2 blocks, right? So just bring this bolster up as high as you need so you can rest yourself here. Okay, and for me, I think 1 block is fine, but I want you to be conservative, right? So not a whole lot of stretching. Let your head rest down. You can stack your 2 palms. Let your forehead rest on the palms. And that way you can be face to face while still being able to breathe. So deep stretches is not what we're interested in doing during this time of pregnancy, because for the next 9 months, you've got this hormone relaxin that's flowing through your body. Right? Relax, and it relaxes you, and it's fantastic. Relaxes your ligaments, and it's fantastic. And we need it because it's going to be what allows the muscles and the ligaments that keep the pelvis together for it to be open so that the baby can come down and out. Yep. But it's not like the relaxant only goes to your hips. It goes to all of your joints, to all of your ligaments, right? So everything is a little bit looser. So this is not really the time to go to a heated, hot class, because we don't want to overstretch, especially with that hormone relaxin and running through the body. So every stretch that you do take, you really want to be supported. And again, that goes back to our theme of allowing yourself to be supported. So take 1 more deep breath in here and in this journey, and then slowly roll yourself up, and we'll switch to the other side. Same thing, left leg out, so the right foot in. Take your bolster over to the side. If the block was helpful, do the same thing, same setup. And turn to face the legs so that your chest is facing your toes. Lift up, and then come forward. And if you want, bring that bolster closer to your belly, and you're in this wonderful place where your belly hasn't grown so big, where it's not affecting everything you do. So enjoy while you can, that space for your belly to be able to go wherever it wants to go. I often found that forward folds are really good. They were really great for me in terms of nausea, right? I just kind of wanted to just go into a cocoon and stay there. And also, they were great for fatigue as well. So anytime you can just fold forward, especially now in this first trimester, while your belly allows it, to your last 3 breaths here. And in that shape, you can rock your head from side to side. If it's on your 2 palms, massaging that third eye space. 1 more breath, and then slowly roll yourself up. And we'll come to our final pose, Shavasana. All right, so use a bolster. We'll place the bolster underneath the knees, but there's an option to put 2 blocks underneath your heels, and then an option for the support of the blanket underneath your neck. We'll start with a flat. If you want to double it up, you certainly can. And once you lay onto your back, So the bolster is right underneath the creases of your knees. You're going to roll yourself back, move your blanket so it's only underneath your head. What I like to do is roll the bottom edge of the blanket up so that I've got this roll and I snuggle it at the base of the neck and then just let my head just rest. So I've got some support of the neck and you can let your toes flap out, your hands flap out, wiggle your hips so they're centered on your mat. And you can let your head rock so it's centered and then allow yourself to be here, to be fully supported by your props, your mat, the earth beneath, all of that. Let your eyes close. You can let go of the conscious effort of the breath and just give yourself permission to relax. I will stay quiet and let you know when it's time to come out. And you can begin by wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, bringing life back into the body. Reach your arms up overhead. Stretch from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. And only when you are ready, please roll onto your right side into the fetal position. Stay here for a moment. And then using your left hand, push up and join me in a seated position on the mat. So I want to thank you for a time in your life that's even more hectic than what you may be used to, is taking a moment to join me here for this 30-minute first trimester class. Full disclosure, this is a karma class that I'm offering towards my 300-hour yoga teacher training. So I appreciate very much that I can use this class as a guide to help me along on this journey. As always, thank you so much for joining me in this practice, and I hope you have a lovely day. Namaste.